Eva, together with Luciana Lima, on behalf of Seneca's IND 220 Group 6. We're here at the Consulate General of Cuba, Toronto, with Director Elder Govia himself. Thank you so much, Director, for doing this interview
Happy to
today.
help.
Yes,
Sure.
we'd like to begin by asking you a few questions regarding Cuba. How is Cuba now? Are there any recent developments in Cuba's infrastructures, like airports? Are there new airports, highways, ports, or power supply?
Yeah, for sure. Cuba, one of the main industries in Cuba is tourism. Tourism is actually the most important economic field in the Caribbean. The Caribbean is the region of the world that depends more heavily of tourism in the world. So Cuba is no exception, and there is a very comprehensive and serious effort being made in Cuba to develop our tourism infrastructure. So, at the beginning of the 90s, that began in earnest, and we have been growing every single year. And last year we had a record number of visitors with 4.7 million visitors overall, and we expect this year to have 5 million visitors for the first time in history. Canada is the most important tourism market to Cuba. Canada contributes always in the last 9 years have contributed more than 1 million visitors to Cuba. So, so in this tourism section of the Consulate General of Cuba, we take care of, of, of the tourism itself, and our work is very much focused on that. Now, with that being said, tourism is not the most important source of revenue in Cuba. The most important source of revenue in Cuba is actually the exports of services, and that includes our doctors, professors, biotechnology for sure. And Cuba is a country that since the beginning of the revolution makes the case for making the country one that lives out of the intellectuality, the intellectual values, intellectual capital of the country. So in that respect, given that Cuba, from the beginning of the revolution, made education a right, I myself, I am a beneficiary of that, going through all levels of education, absolutely all levels of education, including postgraduate education, completely free. I didn't have to pay one single cent for a book or for tuition or for anything. Even my being from countryside, being from Pinar del Rio, a province that is 2 hours west from Havana, and I was studying in Havana and then studying in Matanzas. My where to stay, what my meals, everything was included in the program. So that has led to Cuba being one of the most educated countries, I would say. And we have, for example, we have the best ratio of doctors per capita in the world. We have a doctor for every 129 people, and we have tons of professionals. So the idea was precisely create so much capital, intellectual capital that we had that in excess, so we can export that. And that's where we are in that situation. Our economy is subject to a incredible pressure. Cuba is subject to the U.S. blockade by the U.S. government's own admission. Is the most comprehensive and complete and harsh package of economic sanctions that they have imposed to any country in the world. So in that environment, Cuba has been able to manage to grow, and also as far as my industry is concerned, Cuba is the only country in the world that American citizens cannot travel freely. The only country in the world. So Americans can travel and do tourism freely to any country. I will mention a few, not because I have nothing against them. It's that they're admittedly adversaries of the US, like North Korea or Russia or Iran or Libya or whatever. And they can travel freely there. They don't need to ask for any permission. To go to Cuba, they need a permission. So 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 the key in that I would say success, that accomplishment of of keeping keeping the economy moving forward, even in those adverse conditions, is precisely the education of the people of the capital. I would say that in terms of development, Cuba is poised to ramp up the development in the infrastructure to such an extent that through 2030, we're going to add to our hotel inventory more than 100,000 new rooms. We're adding also more than 20 golf courses, more than 20 international marinas. And there is also a number of development of real estate projects associated with golf and other tourism purposes that are very much of a tremendous relevance. For example, we're gonna have very soon in my province, by the way, the first golf course with a hole in the middle of the ocean. So you need to go through the waters of the I'm not sure if it is still Caribbean Sea or if it is Gulf Gulf of Mexico, but you need to go to a small island or island. Cuba is an archipelago, you see.
Yes.
It has the mainland, but it has more than 4,000 small islands and islands. It's
4,000.
Yes, it is amazing. All those small dots that you see around Cuba, and a great many that you cannot see because the scale of the map doesn't permit you to see it, are islands and have one of the most preserved coral reef in the world coral reefs in the world, by the way, the second largest in the world. In this area of south of Camagüey, by the way, the seabed is so well preserved. The plankton is so much untouched there that you can see the whole food chain, so much so that you can literally dive with sharks. Everything is there, sharks and everything there. So it's pretty amazing. So our industry, I mean, tourism industry is not an industry that exists in Cuba for the sake of itself. The ultimate purpose of tourism in Cuba, as economical driver, as the driver of the economy, is to dynamize, to activate as much as possible other industries in Cuba, because tourism becomes like a market for other industries. Like, for example, in the hotel you need so many things, including paint, food, everything. You need in a hotel every kind of services, any kind of products. And being our campaign Authentic a Cuba, we want Cuba to be authentic, so we want the hotels to be carrying, when it comes to coffee, our Cuban organic and fantastic coffee. When it comes to rum, same.
So, let me,
Yeah.
excuse me, let me
Sure.
cut you a little bit. saying that the tourism is the most important industry in Cuba for the economy. And what we would like to know is how the Cubans see the business entry of foreigners into that industry or other industry in Cuba. I know you already told us that the tourism is very important and the tourists are all very welcome.
Yeah.
But how this is received in the business stuff? If someone wants to invest in the tourism in Cuba or other business can be, but how the Cubans see it like that? How
Thank you
do
for
the
that question.
governments-
Thank you for that question. Most of our 4 and 5-star hotels in Cuba are managed by foreign companies or are engaged in a joint venture with foreign companies. It's been a strategic aspect of our development to have to leverage, to harness the brand value of our foreign partners and for sure and also harness their technology. So they bring to Cuba lots of know-how, lots of knowledge, lots of technology, and the brand assets also benefit Cuba in that respect. Additionally, in 2013, the Cuban Investment Act was updated precisely to further stimulate and make Cuba more attractive for foreign investments. Also, in that year began what is poised to become the most important driver of foreign investment in Cuba, which is the Special Development Zone of Mariel. Mariel is a port 40 miles west from Havana that has the opportunity that probably all ports in the region have lost, which is grow in industries. Most of ports in the region are already packed with whether it's a city or it is something else that prevents them from growing in a significant way. And in addition to that, has number one, perfect location. Let's not forget that what made Havana was its location. And number two, has the condition that most likely no other port in the region have or will have, which is the depth of the waters. The Mariel Special Development Zone has the capacity by the depth of the waters to receive even the post-Panamax ships. So yeah, in that direction, Cuba is also very well focused.
Are there any intergroup frictions in Cuba? And will this any way affect foreign visitors or business activities in Cuba?
If there is, repeat the question.
Are there intergroup frictions in Cuba itself?
Internal frictions.
Yes.
Well, there is absolutely nothing in Cuba that might affect the tourism. Number one, Cuba is one of the safest places in the world. And it's not just me saying that. If you go to the even the Canadian government website, you will see that one of the very few places in the south of Canada, where they state that when they recommend exercising just the very same precautionary measures that they will exercise at home is Cuba. So Cuba is super safe. In addition, Cuba is, uh, in addition to that, so in addition to the inherent safety that there is in Cuba because of not having drugs, not having guns, not having hijacking, not having organized crime, not having anything of that, tourism is a priority in Cuba. So we take the safety of our clients with seriousness.
So, let's talk a little bit about another subject. In our research regarding Cuba, we read a lot of stuff, really, but we couldn't find nothing regarding the relations between employers and employees.
In Cuba?
I know, yes, I know that it's a new act in Cuba regarding that. But I read the act, but I didn't see actually how the employees are rewarded or how they suffer penalties. Because to explain, illustrate a little, in Brazil,
Yeah.
if a employee has a matter of behavior, the employer may give the first advertising, the first warning, and the second warning, and the third warning is written,
Yeah.
and then he can be fired, for instance, without any rights.
Yeah.
So, how does that work in Cuba?
Well, in Cuba, the labor policies are not much different than anywhere else in the world. Other than that, workers in Cuba are heavily protected by the state. Cuba is a socialist country. So in that respect, there's not only that every worker in Cuba is unionized, but also there's a lot of other bodies created to protect the workers' rights. So, and they're very strong. So it is hard, it is really hard to commit injustice treatment towards the workers. Most of the times, the worker has the overhead. In addition to that, I would say that, for example, in terms of rights for the pregnant woman and this type of thing that are, I would say, a dream in are a not realized I would say intention in many places elsewhere. In Cuba, the pregnant woman, for the pregnant woman or the woman that has gave birth, has a whole year of maternity leave. That's a whole year of maternity leave. In addition to that, in Cuba, there's also the paternity leave. So if the woman has a better job than the father or something, it is the father who stay at home and the woman works. Also, there is another dimension to the Cuban society that impacts the very workplace in Cuba. For example, women have more professional jobs than men. In the political sphere, out of our 3 vice presidents, 3 are women, 3 are men, 3 are colored people. So, so there's representativeness in all that, and uh, and also Cuba is historically, not just that, Cuba is historically by culture a very inclusive place. For example, if you go to Havana, you will see lots of same-sex couple getting hands, taking hands in the street, and that's completely normal. And there is a LGBT parade at that. And in Cuba, we come from Spanish and Africans and Jewish and Arabs, and just like in Brazil, just like in many places in Latin America. So so there has been never anti-Semitism, anti-anything. Cuba is a country that embraces its African roots, its Jewish roots, its Arab roots, its European roots, and that reflects in the workplace as well. So I will also say that a constitution that was recently approved states that the family has whatever structure that was decided. It's not a woman and a man and this, no, whatever structure that is there. It can be two dads or two moms or whatever. So many things that in other countries might be a dream not yet realized are in Cuba realized already. Cuba is again, Cuba is a country with a deep sense of social responsibility, and it's not just in the workplace. I mentioned the education. I want to mention also the access to sport, the access to culture. Cuba is when it comes to culture, not only because of historical reasons, a country with lots of arts, music and arts, and lots of talent. The revolution has created a system that not only protects that, but enhances that, stimulates that in two ways. Number one, make it completely accessible and as much so as possible access to the arts and culture in every municipality. Cuba has 169 municipalities, and we have more than 500 houses of culture, which is in every town there is place for art exhibition and this and violin playing and everything. So it's not just letting them access that, but also the professional art promoters. Their job is to detect, to spot the talent and develop the talent so they can go to the next level, to the Stephen Sala Music School, then to the provincial art school, then to the national art school, then to the University of Arts, then to the many companies of classical ballet, contemporary ballet. So all of that, and so that's what the country is about. I mean, that's part of what I mentioned. That is the sense of social responsibility.
For your last question, if I would like to export in Cuba or invest in Cuba,
Yeah.
what advice can you give me for a win-win negotiation?
Well, the the special development zone of Mariel right now is the most important window for foreign investment in Cuba, hands down. So, and it's very easy to get to there. I mean, you just Google, well, you need to remember, it's a special development zone of Mariel. Mariel is the port. And it will come up the website and the link and the even the email to convey the interest, and and establish and arrange the appointment. However, every single year in Cuba we have in November FIHAF. FIHAF is the International Trade Fair of Havana. Is the I would say that that is a good, the ideal starting point to get to know what is there to see and learn and what is there to see if your interest, whatever you have to offer, matches Cuban potential, Cuban interest. And definitely in the third level I would put also for sure the diplomatic missions. In Ottawa, in our embassy, we have a trade counselor, an economic attaché, which are the ones that serve as the catalyzer and advisors to whatever can be done. So even to us, if you email us and you want to be in touch with them, I will not personally take care of that, but I will refer happily to that person so you can have good information. So there's many layers to that, and there's many ways so you can do that the very direct way without anything in the middle, going directly into the special development zone of Mariel. You can go to the FIHAP or you can go to the advisors in the diplomatic mission.
Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Director.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hope that this has been of some help to you.
Yes, it is.
Yes, okay.
It's very nice talking to
So
you.
Luciana, you are Brazilian.
Yes, I am Brazilian.
Great to know.
I'm Filipino.
Oh, I thought that there were some Latino because Filipinas was also a colony just like Cuba.
Yes.
Of
The
Spain.
same. The same.
And you see,
Yes.
so many Spanish names.
Yes.